Hi students, welcome you again. Today in this lesson we will discuss about the introduction to structured query language, in which we will discuss what is a database, what type of operation we can perform on MySQL, and how we can create a new table or database in MySQL. The objective for the today's class is to know about the concept about the introduction of database, structured query language, then about the which type of data type and constraints in MySQL we can use, what is data definition language, what is data manipulation language, how we can execute the query to access the data from MySQL, and how we can update and delete the data from the table in MySQL. Now, first of all, we will discuss about RDBMS or DBMS. There are many RDBMS such as MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Oracle, etc., that allow us to create a database consisting of relations and to link one or more relations or table for efficient querying to store, retrieve, and manipulate data on that database. Here we will learn how to create, populate, and query database using MySQL. First of all, what is SQL? For database management system, SQL is a special kind of programming language called query language that can be used to access data from the database. The structured query language is the most popular query language used by major relational database management systems such as MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, etc. Why we use SQL? We have so many reasons to use SQL. The first reason is that it is very easy to learn and also not case sensitive like other languages. User can create and interact with a database using SQL in an efficient and easy way. SQL provides statements for defining the structure of the data, manipulating data in the database. Now, we will discuss how we can install MySQL. Because every time when we start any project, first of all, we need to install that particular software. To install MySQL, first of all, we will visit the site which is already defined with you. You will just click on this site and a dialog box will be appear from which you can download the MySQL database. Then after getting installing, a window will be, when we try to open this, it will ask you about the password. You will enter the password and press enter. After pressing the same, a window will be there with MySQL, where you can start to write your queries or syntax to operate on MySQL. But before that, we have a screenshot for the same, which we have already told you. Then in the next chapter, we have some rules to writing SQL statement in MySQL. These rules are as, first of all, SQL is case insensitive, means there is no difference between upper and lower case letter. If you define name in capital letter or name in capital letter, so small letter, then it will be same for SQL. SQL statement always end with a semicolon. To enter multi-line SQL statement, need not to write semicolon after the first line. Just enter to continue. The prompt MySQL then change to arrow, indicating that statement is continued to the next line. After the last line, put semicolon and press enter. After getting these rules, we will just read here what is a database. As already we have discussed, a database is consist of one or more tables, and each table is made up of attributes which is known as column or field. Each attribute has a data type like other language. We have example to describe you about the relations part or the terminology which we can use in MySQL. Here we have a table with 4 columns. These 4 columns are known as attributes or field. Then we have a record, a collection of columns, or we can say that the values of the column is known as record or tuples. After that we have the number of rows which contain the data is called cardinality of the table. Then the number of columns in a table is known as the degree of the table. Here in the above example, the degree of the table is 5 because we have 5 columns. On the other hand, the cardinality of the table is 2 because we have 2 records in the table. Then we have another look where we will discuss about a data type of attributes. Data type indicates the type of data value that an attribute can have. The data type of an attribute decides the operation which can be performed on the data of that attributes. Basically, in MySQL we have following type of data which we can use during the declaration of a table or during the creation of the structure of a table. First of all, we have a character data type. Specify character type and the length of its such type of data is 255. Then we have var character, where the character type data of length is up to value 65,535. Then we have int specify an integer value. Each int value occupies 4 bytes of storage. If we have a large range of value, then we can use big int instead of int data type, where big int occupies 8 bytes of data. Then we have float, which can hold with decimal points. Each float values also occupies 4 bytes. Then the most important data type which we can mostly use is date. The date type is used for the dates. The by default format in MySQL is YY, MM, DD. YY stand for the 4 digit of the year, just like 2019. MM is the 2 digit of month and DD is the 2 digit date. The support range in date data type is from 1000 01012 999 to 1231. Then we have constants. What are the constants? Constants are the certain type of restrictions on the data values that can attribute can have. They are used to ensure the accuracy and reliability of data. However, it is not mandatory to define constraints for each attribute of a table. Means we can apply the constraints on the attributes or field, or we can say that column of a table. Then we have a simple question for you. Which two constants when applied together will produce a primary key constants? We will give you the answer for this question in the coming lesson. Then we have a constants. Constants already we have described that constants are the kind of restrictions which we can apply on a particular column. Now we have the following type of constants. First one, not null. Ensure that a column cannot have null values, where null means missing, unknown or not applicable value. It means that a attribute or column which we have defined not null constants, that column's value cannot be remain null. We must have any value, enter any value in that particular column. Then we have unique key constants, which is uh, used to ensure the uniqueness of the value in the particular column. Default constants can be used to specify for the column if no value is provided, then a particular value will be displayed in that particular column. Primary key, this is the most important key constants in database which we can apply on a table. Primary key constants provide the facility that column's value cannot be duplicate and also cannot remain null. Then we have a check constants which will ensure that the data in the column is as per the condition or as per the criteria which is defined by the user. Then in MySQL we have basically three type of commands. First one is data definition language, second one data manipulation language, and third one DCL, data control language. First of all, here we will discuss about data definition. What is the meaning of data definition? SQL provides for defining, modifying and deleting the relation schemas. These are called data definition language through which the set of relations are specified. In other words, data definitions are such type of language which is used to create the structure of the relation or table. Data definition start with the create statement which is used to create a database or tables. Then we have some more example with a command. Here we have some practicals for the same. Suppose I want to create a database in MySQL. To create a database, we will just write down create database, then write down the name of that particular database. I have given the name as Navodaya for my database and then I have pressed the enter. A database will be created here. Message will be displayed query OK, one row affected. Then I want to show the list of databases which we have already in the MySQL database. For the same, I will write down show databases and write down the semicolons because already in the rules we have defined that the statement of MySQL will terminated with semicolon. It will show me the all data list of all database which is already created in the sequence. Here Navodaya is created just by now by me. Here if I want to use the Navodaya as my current database, then I will just write down use Navodaya and write down the semicolon. A message will be displayed database changed. Here this is also defined in the particular definition create a database. To create a database we use the create a database, then write down the name of the database, the syntax which we have already defined you. Then in the next example all the snapshots are here to create a database in the SQL. Now we have a new term for you, that is DBMS. DBMS stands for Database Management System, can manage multiple database on one computer. Therefore, we need to select the database that we want to use. As in the example, we have already used a database named as Navodaya. Once the database is selected, we can proceed with creating tables or querying data. But before use the database, we can also get the list of database in our system. And in the example, we have already show you such type of list of databases by using a command show databases. Then I have the command to use a database. Here I have used GNV as the new database where I will try to create a new table. Then in the next coming example we will define here that The created database which is already we have created, it is empty and it doesn't contain any table. To check it, we will just write down here show tables. Here I will just write down show tables and press the enter press. Here this is empty set. If I want to use JNV as a new database, now database which I am using is JNV and I want to get the list of tables, then just simple I will write down show tables. It will show that Sunny is the table which is already created in JNV. If I want to open the table of Sunny which is already in the JNV, then it will show me just like by writing the command just like this one. Here in this table I have three fields named as serial number, S name, F name with its type int, var character and var character with size 30 and 25. Now we have null no means serial number cannot be null. After that S name, F name can be null. Then I have defined the primary key on serial number, that's why it cannot be remain null, then default is null. Here if I want to proceed with the same table, then I can use Sunny as a table, but if I want to create a new table in that particular database, I will just write down create table, then name of the table, suppose I have given the name as student, I will just enter press, and in the already rules which we have defined, I have told you that if we didn't have the semicolon at the end of the line in MySQL, then a arrow symbol will be there which show you that your query is or your statement is continue. Here we will give you the name of attribute by giving the its data type, and we can also give the primary key means a key constants which we have applied. Then I have a new attribute admission number, then with its var character we can define, or we can also define as a character, and then define its size. If I didn't define the size of the data, then by default the size of the data is 1 bit, or we can say that 1 character. Then I have s name as a new variable name as a new constants, and then I will define the data type of the same. After getting the same, I will just go with the brackets and semicolon will be there and press the enter key. As I press the enter key, a query will be executed with a message query OK, 0 row affected, and it takes just 0.90 seconds. Now I have a table named as student. If I want to get the look of my table student, then I will just write down describe student. It will show me the structure of the table. Here now how we can create table. After creating table, we need to define relation in this database and specify attribute for each table along with data type for each attribute. Already in the example we have do the same. Then we have again a describe table. A describe table command is used to show the structure of the table in MySQL which you have defined or which you have created. After that we have a alter table. It is very important command which can be used to add, remove or modify the structure of the table which is existing in your database. To do the same, we can use alter table with its sub command. It may be add or modify or drop with attributes name. Here we will have a command like this one. If I want to add one more attribute in my table student, just I will write down alter table student and then give the attribute. If I want to add one more attribute named as phone number and define its data type with int, enter press, a new column will be added into the table. Sorry, I have just give you the enter table here. In the above example I have provided space, so it is unable to add the same. Now I have a simple column here. I have defined this one without the semicolon, then a new column is to be added into my list. After that, if I want to show the same, then I will just write down describe. You can also write down this DESC only, describe student, write the semicolon and then press enter. Here a phone number is the new attribute which I have already used with the alter command. Then if I want to modify the structure of the table or modify the length of the data type which I have used, or we can say that I want to add primary key on admission number, then how we can modify this one. After that, for the same alter table student, then write down modify instead of add and then write down the name of the attribute, then write down the primary key semicolon enter press. Here an error is shown because the right syntax to use near primary key at line 1. Already we have a primary key in the attribute. Now we will just define the same by using a primary key admission number, then I have character 10 primary key, or we can say that unique. Then a key is applied, unique is here. To show the same, I will again write down describe, then the name of the table. It will show me this like this one. After that, we have a drop table. A drop table is used to drop the any particular column from the list. For the same, we will just write down alter table, then give the name of table, then write down drop, then the column which you want to delete from the table or drop from the table, just press enter. A column will be dropped from the list. You can ensure by showing the structure of the table here. This one here, the column phone number is deleted from the here. So it is all for today. With a new concept, we will be here with you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.